Наш следующий разговор будет о роли комплексных решений информационной безопасности для
The next story will be about protecting industrial companies because industrial companies are surrounding us. They manufacture electricity, they assemble cars, they are steaming outside of our doors. This is something that we cannot live without. Our daily activities are not happening without those companies, and we're going to speak about protecting these industrial companies together with Dmitry Dolensky, the head of Practical of Industrial Security in Positive, and Anton Shepulin, manager for the development of industrial cybersecurity from Kaspersky Lab.
вопрос будет вам.
Hi guys, my first question will be to both of you. Can you tell us, please, why should we protect these smoking chimneys?
Ну как для чего?
Why?
Нужно электричество.
We need electricity, we need food products, we need medications, we need to use transportation. So any industrial company, infrastructural or manufacturing one, it's the same IT infrastructure with same computers, unique devices, which also subject to cyber attacks.
Проблемы.
And the damage and problems which can be caused by cyber attacks are much more significant than the cyber attack against some business center. Yes, Dima is right. The main objective is to provide continuous flow of operations in the company, to provide services to the end consumers, users of the system, and of course prevent their inoperability, which might lead to the catastrophes with the loss of monetary damage to the human health and lives. And this is done not just by IT security, this is done by business, this is done by physical security, functional security companies, and these systems become more and more digital. IT factor becomes a factor of threat. That's why informational security becomes this fighter, becomes the fighter which provides continuous operations of the company. Are these myths that industrial companies are being broken, or hackers do break into them and they make some practical things? Well, in real life, we can say that, speaking about our projects, especially when we directly work with the clients, we do see traces and consequences of cyber attacks. But due to traditions and specifics in the security industry, information as a rule does not reach public mass media. So, yes, of course, there are cases. The damage is real. I'm speaking about specific damage, but not many mass media companies are publishing this information. Anton, you see the whole market, especially the Kaspersky Lab in this country and outside of this country. Can you make certain examples of break-ins into industrial companies? Well, there's a lot of break-ins and hacks, but we are security specialists. We are paranoid by our main idea. We show risks to business, and we always tell them about worse options that with proper investments, with proper efforts from the side of hackers, one can achieve very negative consequences as a damage to life and health of human beings. But if you will look at the whole history of attacks, it would be honest to say that never this system has led to mortal cases. It does mean that we have to relax. On multiple occasions, we had arguments about some death effects. We didn't have any mortal cases, but with time, people forget the first case, very, very loud case. It was in the beginning of the year 2000 in Australia, when fired employee have been able to dispose
экологии и так далее.
and damaged the environment, and there was negative cases. So there were some damaging effects of these cases, and case when the production was shut down, an economical effect was very negative, and specialized malicious code was discovered before this damage was caused, and we know of such cases, Triton system, and new cases are well known to us when just recently, in the course of this year, within 1 week, we have published information about attacks against energy facilities, We've discovered a specialized software which was making an attempt of using inbuilt protocols, Schneider Electric, Enron, NPC servers, without using any vulnerabilities. It's just enough to get access to those servers. And speaking about LNG gas facilities, and it happens right now. It didn't lead, fortunately, to moral cases, but it shows us that this is a real danger, and we live in those days. Well, there is a myth that hackers are inside of those industrial companies. They're sitting all the time there, and many of them are sitting inside of them. Is it a myth, or is it a truth of life? And they are kind of hiding, and they're waiting for their time. Well, the traces of presence, the traces of exploitation of vulnerabilities, the traces of attackers are discovered practically in every second research, in every second pen test and analysis, so in every second company. Yeah. But it's important to understand when we speak about industrial company security, we are not speaking just about protection of the SCADA or technological network, because the attack against corporate systems, production or business system, they also are able to shut down the business activities. For example, the story with some colonial pipelines. The control systems of repumping of oil products, they have not been attacked or broken. The business system was broken and the company had to shut down. So when you look at the protection of the industrial company, well, you have to look at it wider in a scale of the whole infrastructure of the company and not just narrowly in some specialized technological systems. So speaking about corporate systems, business systems in the industrial companies, traces are discovered and hackers are present. Dima has properly been speaking about another aspect, that company does not exist in vacuum. The company has a supply chain. The company has relations with agents, with clients, with suppliers. And what did happen with colonial pipelines, it said that, well, the technological process was shut down through the business process. Without attacking industrial automation processes, they have achieved the same result. And speaking about this point of view, well, everybody's vulnerable. There is no ideal protection, and there is no ideally protected companies. We know about that, and with the consideration of the growth and integration of these systems between each other, this lack of ideality is growing. That's why this interdependency between big number of technologies, companies, components, vulnerable components, non-reliable foreign components, we are able to see that this is an objective situation, that we have to follow the concept. You should look at yourself as if you have already been broken in, without thinking about some defense measures using the zero trust concept. You shouldn't trust components inside of the network as absolutely protected, because you can already be hacked. You already might have an agent inside of your company. That's why. And this is a right approach from the point of view, well, it's a paranoid approach from the point of view of risk management of our days. Risk management, well, this is a proper approach, I think. But what is the main specifics of industrial companies compared to business centers, for example? Well, the specifics, if this question about approaches, how can we, the specifics of protection. Well, protection specifics, I'm not going to discover a big secret when I'm going to tell you that the principal approaches to security, technological segment, they are not different. We use same methodologies. We use same product classes. The approaches and policies are very similar to corporate IT infrastructure policies, and there is a certain specifics that there is unique software, unique devices, and you should know how to work with them. However, there is no big difference for us as a company which is involved in developing these solutions for the safety of industrial systems. We don't see big difference here. And in principle, protection of these companies is a big question mark, irrespectively to whether it's a technological system, production management system, business system. These approaches approaches are not really different. What differs them?
Меняется в целом, да, от
The approach is being changed from some formalized common approach for everybody in the IT security industry. It changes to some applied approach in order to have applied, tangible result of all the movements which security guys are making in the manufacturing companies. And I will tell you more to that. For example, outdated approaches. Everybody's modeling security threats, but if you look at the standard threat of security to security of industrial company, it's not going to tell you in which direction you should run, what is to be done, and how can you achieve maximum security effect with minimal investments.
развития.
That's why, from this point of view, the development of approaches, development of methodologies, generally speaking, not in respect to some separate domains or systems,
Указ президента
is moving in the right direction. Well, the decree of the president from the May 1st, which was in respect to the protection of the critical companies, that certain responsibilities should be inside of the organization. And there was another part of this decree which tells us that by 2025, everybody should move to domestic products, domestic digital products. How? This is reflected in industrial companies from the point of view of industrial security. Is there any difference? Is this as a kind of a division line between the protection of the industrial companies before this decree and after this president's decree, or everything is the same? Well, this is a new decree, and we don't really understand what's going to be about the situation in the future, but we understand that industrial companies, they started moving in this direction, and this decree is pushing people to do what had to be done previously with Federal Law 187, critical infrastructure security related law. And if I remember, it reinforces requirements to any critical infrastructure facilities, not only the most significant ones. And there's a certain misunderstanding about them. So right now they got more intense. They started looking for alternative means of protection, and we see these through the demand. So it has reinforced certain increase of interest, speed. Yes, we need availability of a responsible person, and it is being defined that there should be a responsible department within the company. So it reinforces the priority of informational security for the industrial companies. But we are going to see in the future what's going to happen here.
Антону, да, все.
Well, I would like to add to Anton's words. Everything is right, but the main idea is that we have to move in this direction and we have to do a lot of things. As for us,
Опять же, не секрет, существовал всегда подход.
it's not a secret. We always have used an approach before something explodes, nobody will do anything. So this is a wrong approach. It's like a post-factum approach. It has been informing us that, well, the explosion has happened, you have to run, and you have no alternatives. Everybody have to do something in this area. Yes, there was a certain peaceful period. Everybody was thinking that, well, we will get around it, everything's going to work. And right now we've been told, no, we have to move in this direction. Well, speaking about those solutions
в чем
to protect industrial companies, what is the main idea of them? As I understand, the Kaspersky Lab has its own solution, Positive Technology has its own solution. But do you have any common idea between them? And what is the difference? We have certain common functionality. Yes, we have different functionality, but from this point of view, I see that our company and Positive Technologies are moving towards the complex solution, towards certain extended detection response XDR, when the information is collected from different sources, everything is being analyzed, attacks are being discovered, and certain responses being done to block this threat, considering the industrial specifics.
с разных как бы сторон, с разных
But our companies are moving from different directions,
функционала, да, то есть компания
from different functionality. The company tries to use those technologies which this company is strong in and build their approach on the basis of these technologies. You use CM and other management. We use our new CM, our sandboxes, our industrial traffic monitoring systems. So we are moving in the right direction into complex protection, into complex automated defense.
Когда мы говорим о решениях для рынка, да,
So when we speak about solutions for the market,
всегда фокус и, соответственно,
we should always focus, speaking about companies and our partners, integrators, their focus was always been stopping on technologies and techniques like software, hardware. But right now, we are moving in a direction that we are looking at these solutions not
технологии.
only as technological stack or product stack, but certain set of methodologies and approaches with help of which these solutions can be implemented.
Там,
And even starting with the story of making inadmissible to become impossible, our stack of technologies and products, first of all,
методологию и сама методология.
is using this technology and methodology. And this methodology is being offered on the market. So, how the industrial company, irrespectively from the industry, like is it a steel mining company or electrical energy company, how can they use this first approach
Выстроить, понять,
properly?
выстроить.
How can they properly understand their own risks? How they can properly build processes? And how can they choose technological products and solutions
решение
for solving this problem? So, from our side,
Вы вообще
our approach looks like that.
чувствуете прям такую конкуренцию?
Do you feel competition between yourselves on the market?
На тесте.
Well, we do participate in all the tenders and contests, and this is good. Competition is always good.
Не даете,
Конечно,
правильно?
это
So you don't let each other to relax. We are thankful to our competitors. They make us better. Yeah, they make us better and stronger. So this is wonderful.
И
We are friends
здорово, мне кажется.
and we are competitors at the same time, and it should be like that.
Слушайте, я рад,
This is wonderful.
что между вами есть
I'm glad to see that you have healthy competition between yourself, which in the end run will help you to make those products.
Защищаем наших, как бы мы
And our main goal is to protect the industry, is to protect companies, and it will help you
в результате
to make products
не будет у нас произойти
whose operation will prevent explosions, will prevent emissions, will prevent shutdowns of electricity or any other negative events will be prevented with the help of your products. And we don't want them to happen with the inhabitants of modern cities. So fight
как бы целеполагание,
with those criminals. You have very good goals. It's to improve our lives and make it comfortable. Thank you very much, guys.